As regulations are now actualizing in America, virtual currency is actually being recognized as cash by everyone, and law enforcement is cracking down harder than ever on darknet operations across the world. And while this may be giving a lot of newcomers to cryptocurrency some unease or uncertainty, the major American multinational credit card company American Express has quickly expanded its own worldwide payment network to integrate directly with the Bitcoin blockchain. So what does this mean for the legitimacy of Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and the future of money? How many people will still be caught off guard when this tipping point crosses the mainstream attention? And why is every major multinational financial services corporation building their own fleet of rocket ships to the moon? Let's discuss. Hey everybody, I'm Gary Palmer Jr., you're you, and together, welcome to Minting Coins. So, wow, there's been a lot of interest, a lot of ups and downs, breathing ins and breathing outs with the news from the SEC yesterday. And with that news of regulation and so much clarity with so much uncertainty for what this means for the existing ICOs and for the upcoming and future ICOs that will at some point want to exist or already in operations to launch or at some sort of stage of becoming some sort of tokenized blockchain representation of their company on the internet. This news out of the SEC really does a lot to create a direction for where the regulation is going, how it's going to be set up to benefit some centralized organizations within the structure, the existing structure of what America has going on. And with all that, there was major news that came out from the alleged owner and operator of a major long-standing exchange who was arrested for illegal operations with Bitcoin. And so what does that mean for the market? How is that news affecting the price of Bitcoin for better or for worse? It's a lot that's happening, and it's a lot of information that's reaching a lot of people about what's going on. Is this bad? Is this going to be a reason that Bitcoin is a tool that's no good? Or are they just going to say, hey, we got rid of all the bad guys and now this is in the hands of the financial institutions, and so everyone is going to be safe with cryptocurrency, and at some point giving that blessing onto cryptocurrency to operate, as we saw by the SEC press release yesterday, on a case-by-case basis. So, really picking those that are going to be able to pass and to operate based on, how secure the users are going to be for, I suppose, the citizens that the SEC governs over. It's a lot going on. At the same time, we're getting this news that American Express and the companies that they are directly vested in are just increasing the integrations and creating the paths and the connections and the gateways connecting these major multinational financial services companies on with the blockchain technology. So when anyone wants to pass through or send or receive, someone wants to make that transaction, American Express wants to be there to take a percentage, and they don't want to be disrupted. They know what's going on. They've made this decision to integrate their company with blockchain technology, just as so many of these other financial institutions have, just as so many of these other companies have, just as so many of these different governments across the world, including America, are creating the basis, the foundation of integration and connectivity between the different variants of this technology and the existing systems and infrastructure that does exist right now in America. Just the real question is, with the existing uncertainty that is there with the differences in regulations from a state-by-state basis, where is it all going to go in the short term as the laws are being solidified, clarified, and really unified across the 50 states and territories of the United States of America. So with that, we have a few points in the news to go over and to discuss around those topics. And with that, why don't we take a quick peek at the market just to see where we are with most of the coins in the top 10 or 20 or so, and look into the news and let's discuss. Okay, so turning over to coinmarketcap.com, taking a quick peek at the currencies in the world. We are over 820 cryptocurrencies out there. One Bitcoin, just one Bitcoin, and 827 other altcoins. One of those altcoins is Ethereum, doing relatively well, peeking its head back above that $200 mark. I think Ethereum is super undervalued. I just think about 10 Ethereum being worth $2,000 and just really equating 10 Ethereum to equaling at least one Bitcoin, right? And the fact that one Ether is really just about 0.08 Bitcoin, I just really see Ethereum as undervalued. With that, I see Zcash as being super undervalued because Zcash is limited. There's currently only 1.8 million Zcash Zeke existing, and these are limited to, I believe, 21 million like Bitcoin. And as these are going to be integrated with the Ethereum blockchain to allow private transactions on the Ethereum blockchain, Ethereum, there's no limit, right? We sort of talk about that as a negative sort of to Ethereum, that it has this inflation to it. There's no inflation to the Zcash, and so I really see the value of Zcash being much more than the value of Ethereum, especially, right, if that's assuming it gets integrated and totally connected. But if that happens, then I think it's going to be a huge win, just because the need for privacy is going to be so critical for Ethereum, unless they find another way to get that done, I suppose. That's Zcash. I mean, EOS can come out of nowhere and take it over, right? But that's all, I think that's a huge risk by itself. Anyway, Bitcoin, $2,500. It's going to be interesting to see where this goes as we get closer and closer to the August 1st, excuse me, and then past the first 2 weeks in August to really see the total lock-in of an activation of SegWit, and I guess just get hit with the reality once everyone realizes that there's going to be this second hard fork of Bitcoin, and it's going to create this altcoin that's going to be not Bitcoin, and just how that affects the psychology of people with all this money just being created out of nothing, and then it'll be really interesting to see how people buy and sell that coin and what that value goes to. Personally, I think the coin is not going to be supported by the majority of people in the world, but I think the coin is going to be very popular with the powers that be and the larger financial institutions because of the centralization that that coin may have with the larger miners who will be focused on delivering its hash power. But that's speculation on my part. So with that being said, there's a lot of different news that's going on that I think has been connected to the Bitcoin price sort of fluctuating today and going down earlier today, even though from earlier today it's definitely increased since it was under $2,400. I was noticing or under $2,500 on Coinbase, and we're back up there now. So turning into the news, we have this Russian who was arrested I believe in Greece, the country of Greece, for allegedly operating a $4 billion Bitcoin crime website. And so this website is an exchange. It's this long-standing exchange, secretive exchange that's really been a part of the Bitcoin community for a long time, operating out of Russia. That Bitcoin exchange is BTC-e. It's suspected to be laundering money and being a part of all these different crimes. And so Greek police have arrested this man for running this website, arrested on Monday on a U.S. warrant. So with this U.S. warrant, again, he's suspected of owning, operating, and managing the world's leading e-crime, one of the world's leading e-crime websites. And then we also have this person's name. And so what's really scary, from my standpoint for this person, is that not only is he now wanted and arrested and going to be extradited to America because the Americans want him, he probably needs to worry about all of the clients that he has who he's potentially allegedly been laundering money for, because less than 2 weeks ago the alleged founder of Alphabet was found dead in a Thai prison hours before his deportation hearing to the United States. I'm guessing, it doesn't say here without getting deeper into it. We could look into that. I don't want to really go down the rabbit hole as part of this article. But what are the chances that that was foul play? And when someone is locked up in a cage and with guards all around them, they end up dead. It's just a little suspicious. And so it's really risky running these websites. It's really risky being in the dark net because you have this pressure coming at you from both directions. You have pressure coming at you from the law enforcement, from the regulators, from the government, and then you have pressure coming in from the dark net clientele, people who potentially could help you lose some sleep at night. Not that you're looking for help doing that. And it's really stressful because what's happening is that we're seeing this regulation increase, and we're seeing the law enforcement pressure increase, and where this is going is just creating a world where the majority of people who use Bitcoin will have their identities known. Companies will know their customer. Companies will be able to be in compliance with anti-money laundering, and then companies will also be in compliance with what's the security, what is money, who's making money, how Americans are being able to interact with these new blockchain-based companies, these new decentralized companies, at least in an authorized way from the United States government, the federal government, and the Securities and Exchange Committee. And so with this regulation that came out yesterday, and this statement and this action that came out from the SEC yesterday, we have Tim Draper. And so for those who don't know, Tim Draper is an American venture capitalist. He's an investor, and Draper received a lot of coverage for his purchase of the U.S. Marshals Service auction of the seized Bitcoin from the Silk Road marketplace, where Bitcoin received one of its original black eyes in the community. And so Silk Road was actually run by Ross Ulbricht, and Ross was convicted of creating and running the Silk Road website until his arrest, where he was convicted of money laundering and computer hacking and all of these things. Essentially, he was just running a website, and that website other people were using to buy and sell drugs, or potentially using it for this illegal activity, and that's no good. But his crime for being a part of the technology and building websites and building code is that he's currently serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole. And so you look into this more, look into Ross's story. There'll be links in the video below. Check it out. And so when Ross's Bitcoin was seized, it was then auctioned by the Marshal's office, and then Tim Draper purchased most of that Bitcoin, I believe around 35,000 Bitcoin. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe he bought it, it was in 2016. So I think he bought it for about 19.5 million, which it's worth a lot more than 19.5 million right now. So anyway, Tim wrote this open letter to the SEC via Facebook, and you know, he's a smooth operator because he thanks the SEC for their decision, and he agrees with the SEC for their decision, and then he adds his own executive recommendations for their consideration. And so going through those three considerations, those three recommendations, one, he says if the purpose of the token is for an investment, then it must be registered with the SEC. Then he says, two, if the purpose of the token is for societal transformation and all the proceeds go to support the development of the token, then it doesn't need to register. Essentially, if it's a donation. And three, if the purpose of the token is to raise money for a company and the money is used to support the company, then it must register with the SEC. And so he's looking to protect both the individual investor, which is what the SEC is looking to do, as far as a stated purpose of the SEC, to protect the common person. Tim Draper is also stating that, you know, we want to allow the U.S. to continue to lead as an innovator. And he states here that he wants the U.S. to be able to share in the bright future rather than giving all the benefits to the countries like Switzerland, Singapore, Japan, who have taken leadership positions in cryptocurrency, not to mention you know, Russia and the UAE and all these other countries that are really adopting Bitcoin and blockchain technology at every single level of their lands and their institutions. So what do we have here? And so the last thing in blue here I thought was really, really interesting is that he's then asking the SEC that any tokens issued before October 30th, 2017 in the future here shall be grandfathered in because in the land of opportunity, the innovators should truly be celebrated. And this is really interesting. This would cover his own ICOs that he's launched. I believe Tezos and maybe Bancor he's had something to do with. And so this would really lay a lot of protection for all the existing ICOs that have really taken place. And so let's hope the SEC listens to this and really helps support and foster a community of innovation inside America for, you know, communion with the whole world. Super, super exciting. So turning to the main news for today, we have another American company, or another American company with the word American in its name, American Express. And so American Express is integrating the American Express card with the Bitcoin wallet Abra for instant funding, instant remittance for peer-to-peer transfers across the world. Now, granted, people can already do this with Bitcoin, and they don't need American Express. A lot of people do need a way to, transfer their fiat money into Bitcoin, into the blockchain, and in some cases, people need a way to transfer their Bitcoin back into their own national currency's fiat currency. And so American Express is essentially acting like an exchange, exchanging small amounts of fiat money or credit, if it's American Express credit, into Bitcoin, allowing users to transfer, let's see here, as much as $200 per day or up to $1,000 per month directly from their American Express card. So American Express is acting as the funder and the exchange and taking a nice little 4% on the total transaction amount that's adding to all the card transactions. So this company, this Bitcoin wallet, is called Abra. And Abra is a company that's received a lot of their funding directly from American Express. So this is no surprise. American Express, all the way back in 2015, which is a long time ago in the world of cryptocurrency, American Express then invested good money into the Abra Bitcoin wallet. And then now in a couple years later, we have American Express integrated with this wallet. And so let's look into that a little bit more. So real quick, who's American Express? Also known as AMX. They're an American multinational financial services corporation, headquarters in New York City. And so they're best known for credit cards, charge cards, traveler's check businesses. They really they do a lot with just worldwide finance and just processing a lot of money. It's definitely a major company in the world of finance and world payments. And so who is Abra? So Abra is a Bitcoin-based digital wallet app that lives on your smartphone, according to their website. Apparently they are, it's mobile to mobile based. A lot of companies working on this. They operate in any currency, it says. Any one of more than 50 plus currencies, and anywhere in the world, according to the website. So one of my major questions when I looked into this is, so is Abra a decentralized Bitcoin wallet? And according to their FAQ, they're saying that they are fully decentralized. You have full access to your Bitcoin. You get full access to your private keys, and that Abra has no access to your private key ever, allegedly. Then I was poking around the FAQs a little bit more, and this said, how is Abra different from other mobile payment solutions? And so I just didn't really understand this, because it says Abra is the world's first digital cash peer-to-peer money transfer network. But isn't Bitcoin, which was founded in 2009, 2010, isn't Bitcoin the world's first digital cash? Isn't Bitcoin the world's first peer-to-peer money transfer network? So I just don't understand how Abra is trying to take credit for what Bitcoin is. I mean, Abra didn't invent Bitcoin in 2014, so I'm not really sure. I mean, this sort of, to me, is not good marketing. This adds some confusion and bullshit factor to who they are and what it is that they represent. So I hope that they get a little more clarity on exactly what they are, because they are not Bitcoin. They're a Bitcoin wallet, right? So let's look a little bit and just see how this works. So if anyone out there, this makes sense for them, taking a look at their blog post here, which was just published yesterday. And so we have that Abra wallets immediately send these payments worldwide. So again, these payments and remittances used to take up to 3 days with the American Express system previously, now take just minutes to receive. And Bitcoin, or American Express, is going to be receiving 4% off of each transaction. It seems like a hefty amount of money. But what's Coinbase? If you do it from your bank account, it's 1%, and Coinbase, if you do it from your credit card, how much is it there? I'm guessing it's around 3 or 4%. So maybe it's comparable. And then the recipients will be able to use the network of tellers in hundreds of cities worldwide to withdraw their funds, or to a bank, which is located in the US or the Philippines, or they'll be able to spend their Bitcoin directly with anyone who accepts Bitcoin. And so I guess if you have the Abra app, which is going to verify your identity and have your personal information, your name, your email, and your address, you would just now, when you want to add money, you'd select your American Express card, pop in your American Express information, say how much money you want to add, up to $200, confirm the transaction, and then I guess you you instantly have your funds, and then you could just instantly send these funds to any other Abra user worldwide. I guess my follow-up question that I would want to look into next is, from my Abra wallet, would I be able to send that Bitcoin to any other Bitcoin user worldwide, or does it have to be to another Abra user? I mean, if it's only Abra to Abra, then it really lacks a lot of magic. And then the Abra to Abra, I suppose, is lacking the abracadabra. Ba-doom. Sorry, that was a little on the fly. But yeah, it wouldn't be cool if it was only Abra to Abra. It really needs to be Abra Bitcoin wallet to any Bitcoin wallet. Otherwise, it really loses a lot of the finesse of being a part of the community. It really creates. It's like saying you could only be from AOL to AOL, and that would be so silly if someone, if AOL said, "Oh, here's your new awesome AOL email," but you could only email other AOL users. And yeah, AOL, maybe tried to do certain things like that, and it just doesn't work, right? It doesn't play nice. It has to fit with the whole network. But with that being said, this integration that American Express has in the Bitcoin network, even if this company doesn't take off, if this technology doesn't take off with this company Abra, American Express essentially owns all the IP, and I'm sure can use all the IP and integrate that IP with any other product or service that American Express is going to be deciding to use or create, implement moving forward. We are just seeing all of these financial institutions lay the groundwork for the integration of their existing systems, infrastructure, and setup to continue to operate with this new digital asset class. Money is still going to exist as we know it, fiat dollars and whatnot. People are still going to have to pay their taxes and more than likely their mortgages with US dollars. And so these systems for US dollars will continue to exist. The system for gold and precious metals or stocks or bonds, these other asset classes will continue to exist. And all of these existing major financial institutions are already set up to integrate with all these other asset classes, right? Digital currency, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, these are new examples of this new asset class. And the regulations are laying down the groundwork for these financial institutions to exist, because the financial institutions are letting the regulators know they need to exist. They need the groundwork for them to be competitive and for them to take advantage of this, while at the same time, really having, the extreme level of, intrusion of privacy into who everyone is in every single transaction that everyone is doing. And so, yes, this is a huge dichotomy where these two worlds are most of the time diametrically opposed to each other. But at the same time, each of these groups, independently and together, those who are for decentralization and those who are against decentralization, are all moving the Bitcoin ball forward, each in their own different way. And so there's definitely going to be a lot of entropy. There's definitely going to be a lot of conflict with people's perceptions of what is legal and the legal perspective of what is legal. And this is really exciting because I think Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, blockchain technology represents freedom. It represents the freedom of trusting information between not just two people, not just between me and you, but between everybody in the world, and everyone in the world being on the same page for the first time in history. Being on the same page, not just having instant communication with everyone, but trusted communication where we can all verify and know that something is true on the blockchain. And this is revolutionary technology that major institutions and governments have been afraid of, and maybe they're still, in some fear, or they themselves have uncertainty and doubt about some of the applications, and knowing that the genie is out of the bottle, so to speak. But at the same time, the technology isn't going anywhere, and they now want to be a part of it just as much as you and I want to be a part of it. And I'm really glad that you're a part of it. I'm really glad that you're learning about this information. It's really important that you educate yourself and that you learn all that you can, what you can about what the truth is, so that when you hear other information coming from other sources, you're able to have that information, make a decision, and do what's right for you and for your family and for your community. So with that being said, tap that like button, comment below, share your thoughts. Let me know, what do you think about all of this regulation and these financial companies adding to the legitimacy of Bitcoin, adding to the legitimacy of cryptocurrency as cash, and laying the foundation. What do you think about this foundation that's being laid out? Do you think that more people are going to start paying attention? Do you think this is going to help open their eyes, or are they not going to pay attention until it's on CNN? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll be creating more videos, getting you more information, and until then, in between then, I'm glad that together we're minting coins.